Loneliness is a term we hear often, especially in today's hyper-connected world. Surveys reveal an unsettling reality. Nearly a third of young adults in America experience loneliness daily. But is social media the root cause? Or does our constant quest for connection mask a deeper truth about our need for solitude? Today, we'll explore the transformative power of aloneness, its challenges, spiritual significance, and the courage it demands. Together, we'll redefine what it means to walk the solitary path, not as a curse, but as a journey toward self-discovery and strength.
Welcome to Must I Evolve, a lecture series on spiritual growth and philosophy, presented in conjunction with No Expectations, the podcast.
There's much talk of loneliness in our culture today. A recent poll by the American Psychiatric Association found that 30% of American adults feel lonely once a week, while 10% have that feeling daily. A shocking 30% of Americans aged 18 to 34 say they have these feelings daily. Many mental health experts point to social media as the main culprit for the rise in lonesomeness in our society. Is social media entirely to blame? Humans are inherently social beings, deeply rooted in communities that offer support, a sense of belonging, and security. These communities influence our thoughts, values, and ethical frameworks. For a growing number of individuals, social media serves as a continuous link to these connections. The craving for interaction can become so habitual that it escalates into an addiction if not checked. The frequent dopamine surges that social media triggers in our brain's reward centers are hard to resist. Yet, when we find ourselves detached from our social circles and the chemical dumps fade, feelings of loneliness emerge. Loneliness versus aloneness. What's the difference between loneliness and aloneness? Loneliness often stems from an acute sense of emotional isolation, a condition where one feels disconnected and alienated from others. In contrast, aloneness is an entirely different state of being. It is not about being isolated, but rather about embracing solitude. Throughout history, all great spiritual leaders spent long periods of time alone. Siddhartha Gautama wandered in suffering for years before finally sitting for 49 days in meditation to reach enlightenment and become Buddha Gautama. Jesus spent 40 days and 40 nights in the desert, where Satan tempted him. These might seem like extreme examples, but they point to the importance of aloneness in our journey to connect with ourselves and eventually something bigger. Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, a renowned Tibetan Buddhist teacher, often discussed the concept of aloneness. He said, "Aloneness seems to be the heart of the discipline. You cannot develop yourself properly unless you give up your need for companionship. Once you give up your search for companionship, you can make friends with your loneliness. At that point, you become a genuine practitioner." The idea is that embracing aloneness can be a powerful part of one's spiritual and personal growth. The journey of self-discovery and embracing one's own company are essential steps toward enlightenment and inner strength, the spiritual connection of aloneness. Embarking on a spiritual journey is often romanticized as a quest filled with enlightenment and life-changing epiphanies. However, the reality can be starkly different. The path to spiritual growth is not a joyride. No straight line or end is in sight. If you were to draw a map of your path, it would look like a 3-year-old child drew it with crayons while riding a roller coaster, a completely confusing mess. It's a solitary trek that demands courage, commitment, and resilience. The spiritual path is often whispered about in hushed tones, shrouded in the allure of tranquility, presented like watered-down Kool-Aid or ultimate wisdom. Yet, those who have set foot on this solitary trail know it is anything but warm, sunny beaches or colorful rainbows. It is not a journey for the faint of heart. It demands your all and a little more. In the tales of Zen tradition, the name Taiso Eka may ring a bell, often linked to the wild tale of his encounter with Bodhidharma. a well-known monk who came from India to spread Buddhism to China. As the story goes, Eka discovered Bodhidharma in deep meditation within his cave home. He stood watchfully at the entrance, hoping the reclusive teacher would welcome him inside and accept him as a student. Time wore on, and a blanket of snow covered the landscape, but still, the monk did not let Eka enter. In an act of sheer determination or desperation, or simply to draw Bodhidharma's attention, Eka severed his left forearm and threw it into the cave in front of the teacher. The tale goes that without moving, Bodhidharma simply replied, "That's a start." I'm not saying that to begin your journey, you need to stand in deep snow for hours outside a cave, or remove a limb, but a sacrifice must be made to start. The beginning of this sacrifice may come from making yourself more vulnerable, shedding unhealthy thinking, or even, I dare say, deleting your Instagram account. However you begin, you must be prepared to give the journey everything, not just your arm, but the entirety of your body, heart, and soul. Here are a few things to consider when you begin your inner journey to find your true self. Sometimes it's better not to begin. To the uninitiated, my advice is simple. Better not to start. The spiritual path is not a hobby or a pastime. It requires a full-throated commitment that will challenge every fiber of your being. If you must embark, do so with the resolve to endure until the end. Trust in the heart. Despite the pain, there's an undeniable truth that you must have faith in. Trust in your heart. The compass of intuition guides you through the darkest nights and the fiercest storms. The small, still voice whispers, "Continue," even when every fiber of your being screams, "Fuck this." Life was easier when it was boring. The penetrating experience. As you delve deeper, your experiences may become too penetrating and too raw. On this path, you won't find fuzzy puppy dog tails, magical unicorns, or warm hugs. The process will strip away the facades, exposing your soul to the elements of truth. It is uncomfortable, unnerving, and utterly transformative. The escape and the return. In moments of weakness, you may seek to escape, to return to the comfort of ignorance. But this avoidance is a source of pain, a stark reminder that your path is one of confrontation, not retreat. And this very pain spurs you onward, a paradoxical muse that inspires you to continue. Setbacks and suffering. Setbacks and suffering are not mere obstacles. They are integral to the creative process of the path. They mold you, shape you, and ultimately forge you into a vessel capable of holding the profound truths of the universe. And finally, the haunting of unfinished business. If you begin and then abandon your quest, the remnants of what you've left undone will haunt you. Like shadows in the rain, they will follow you. Ghosts of what could have been. A constant reminder of the journey you promised to complete. Geez, this sounds grueling and horrible. Always remember that the solitary journey of the spirit is not a punishment, but a privilege, a path of profound growth and inner strength. By embracing aloneness, we shed distractions, confront our truths, and discover resilience we didn't know we had. Though challenging, this journey redefines our relationship with both ourselves and the world, proving that solitude is not the enemy of connection, but its deepest foundation. Step forward with courage, knowing that the greatest rewards await those willing to walk this path alone. Thanks for listening. My name is Andrew H. Housley. I'm a writer, teacher, and the author of the novels Invisible Sun and Waiting Impatiently. I live and write in the Crescent City, also known as New Orleans. These mini lectures are inspired by my personal growth and spirituality writings on Medium. If you like my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. Be sure to listen to my podcast, No Expectations, wherever you enjoy your podcasts.